The massive arc ship drifted through the cold, dark expanse of space. Its metal hull was covered in a thin layer of cosmic dust, a testament to the countless millennia it had traveled. Inside, rows of cryo chambers stood like silent sentinels, each containing a human waiting to be awakened. A soft beep echoed through the empty corridors. One of the cryo chambers began to stir, its frost-covered surface crackling as internal systems came to life. Slowly, the chamber's seal broke with a gentle hiss of pressurized air. Lights flickered, and diagnostic systems hummed into action. Hyun Park's eyes opened. At first, everything was a blur of dim emergency lighting and metallic surfaces. Her body felt heavy, muscles stiff from centuries of suspended animation. As her vision cleared, she became aware of the strange stillness around her. The ship's AI system gradually powered up, its holographic interface casting a soft blue glow across the chamber. Fragmented logs and historical data began to piece themselves together. Hyun could see snippets of humanity's final days on Earth, a planet now lost to time and cosmic events. She took a deep breath, her lungs filling with recycled air that felt both familiar and strange. The cryo chamber had preserved her perfectly, keeping her body young and her mind intact. Around her, other chambers remained sealed, their occupants still sleeping their centuries-long slumber. Hyun moved slowly, her muscles protesting with each careful step. The ship's interior was a complex maze of corridors and technological systems that had remained dormant for hundreds of thousands of years. Emergency lights cast long shadows, creating an eerie atmosphere of forgotten technology and lost hope. The ship's central database began to compile information. 870,000 years had passed since humanity's last desperate attempt to preserve its species. The Ark was a time capsule, a final hope launched into the infinite darkness of space when Earth could no longer support human life. As Hyun reached the ship's main control center, she activated the primary systems. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star charts, ship diagnostics, and the vast emptiness they had traveled through. The ship had been on an automated course, guided by complex algorithms designed to find a suitable new home for humanity. Her fingers moved across the control panels, each touch bringing more systems online. The ship felt like a sleeping giant slowly awakening from a long, deep sleep. Backup power systems hummed, life support began to stabilize, and communication arrays started to scan the surrounding space. Hyun knew she was the first. The responsibility of awakening the rest of the crew, of potentially being humanity's first representative after centuries of silence, weighed heavily on her shoulders. The ship's logs showed they had passed through multiple star systems, avoided countless cosmic dangers, and maintained a course that defied the odds. Outside the ship's reinforced windows, stars twinkled with an ancient light. Somewhere in this vast universe, humanity might find its new beginning. The Ark carried not just sleeping humans, but the collective knowledge, genetic diversity, and final hopes of an entire species. As more systems came online, Hyun began the process of fully awakening the ship. The cryo chambers would need careful activation, ensuring each human was brought back to life safely. She was alone for now, but not for long. Soon, the silent chambers would give up their sleeping inhabitants, and a new chapter of human history would begin. The ship continued its journey, a metal vessel carrying the last remnants of humanity through the infinite darkness of space. Hyun Park stood at the control center watching, waiting, and hoping that their long journey would finally lead them home. The first signal burst through the galactic communication network like a sudden lightning strike. Alien communication centers across different star systems picked up an unusual transmission, a signature that shouldn't exist, a technological pattern long forgotten. At the central communication hub of the Galactic Federation, alarms blared. Monitoring screens flickered with data patterns that defied current understanding. The transmission originated from a region of space considered dead, empty, and irrelevant. Something was moving. Something was alive. Lead Communication Officer Tae Ryu stared at the screens, his hands trembling slightly. The signal was distinctly human, an ancient technological signature that no current civilization believed could still exist. Humanity had been considered extinct for hundreds of thousands of years, a species that had disappeared during the great cosmic migrations. Emergency protocols activated instantly. Federation leadership from multiple star systems began receiving encrypted messages. Some communication channels showed panic, others displayed curiosity, and a few revealed a deep-seated fear that something unexpected had entered their carefully structured universe. The ship's signature was unlike anything in current galactic records. It moved with a precision that suggested advanced technology, yet its systems appeared antiquated by current standards. This contradiction made Federation scientists nervous. An unknown variable had entered their predictable cosmic ecosystem. Planetary defense systems across multiple star systems began shifting into high alert. Some military commanders demanded immediate defensive measures, suggesting the potential threat should be neutralized before understanding its true nature. Others argued for careful observation and communication. Cryo continued monitoring the transmission. The human vessel seemed unaware of the panic it was causing. Its movement was steady, calculated, following a course that suggested sophisticated navigation algorithms. This was not a random drift, but a purposeful journey. Images began to compile on the communication screens. Fragments of the ship's external structure, glimpses of its technological systems started forming a larger picture. It was massive, easily capable of carrying thousands of potential inhabitants. The realization sent another wave of tension. Through the Federation's leadership, emergency meetings were called. Representatives from different alien civilizations gathered in virtual chambers, discussing the unprecedented situation. Some saw potential scientific opportunity, others saw potential threat. The human vessel represented an unknown factor in their carefully balanced galactic structure. Military strategists began running complex simulation scenarios. How would a potentially ancient human civilization interact with current galactic dynamics? What technological capabilities might they possess? The uncertainty was more frightening than any concrete threat. Cryo watched as more data streamed in. The human ship wasn't attempting communication. It wasn't sending aggressive signals. It was simply moving, existing, traveling through space, with a calm determination that felt almost deliberate. This passive approach made it even more unsettling. Quantum communication networks buzzed with speculation. Scientists, politicians, military leaders, everyone wanted answers. Where had this ship come from? What were its intentions? How had humanity survived when every record suggested their complete extinction? The Galactic Federation found itself facing a scenario no predictive model had ever considered. A species thought dead was now very much alive, moving through their carefully structured universe with a presence that defied all current understanding. As debates continued and tensions rose, the human vessel continued its journey, unaware of the panic it was causing, unaffected by the millions of eyes now watching its every movement. The ship moved forward. Its course was steady, its purpose unknown. Cryo knew something fundamental was about to change. The arrival of this human vessel would reshape everything: galactic politics, scientific understanding, the very concept of survival and civilization. Whatever happened next would be historic. The communication screens continued to flash. The human ship moved closer, and the universe held its breath, waiting. J. Kim stood in the ship's engineering bay, surrounded by systems that seemed both ancient and mysteriously advanced. His hands moved carefully across control panels, each touch revealing layers of technological complexity that defied current galactic understanding. The ship's original systems looked primitive by modern standards: bulky metal components, seemingly outdated circuit designs, and data storage methods that appeared centuries behind current technologies. But something was different. These systems were not just old, they were adaptive. As diagnostic programs ran, Jay discovered something extraordinary. The human technology was designed to evolve. Each component could reconfigure itself, learn from its environment, and modify its own functionality. What looked like a weakness was actually an incredible strength. Federation scientists watching through long-range monitoring systems couldn't believe their readings. The human ship was literally rewriting its own technological architecture in real time. Circuit boards would reshape, software would update, and mechanical systems would optimize themselves without external intervention. Jay found a storage unit containing genetic engineering data. The humans who built this ship had prepared for every possible scenario. Technological adaptation was built into their very design philosophy. Survival wasn't just a goal, it was programmed into every single system. The ship's communication arrays began interfacing with nearby alien technological networks. Instead of being blocked or rejected, the human systems found ways to communicate, translate, and understand. It was like watching a living organism learn and adapt in milliseconds. Quantum processors that looked decades old suddenly displayed capabilities that made current galactic technology seem simplistic. The human engineers had created systems that could think, predict, and respond in ways no other civilization had conceived. External monitoring stations reported strange readings. The human ship was not just moving through space, it was analyzing it. Every piece of cosmic radiation, every gravitational wave, every minute technological signal was being processed and understood. Jay realized the ship was more than a vessel. It was a massive, living technological organism. Each system was connected, each component capable of supporting and enhancing others. What appeared random was actually a highly sophisticated network of technological intelligence, Federation technology. Experts began to panic. The human ship could potentially interface with and understand any technological system it encountered. Firewalls, encryption protocols, communication barriers. Nothing seemed to slow its ability to learn and adapt. The genetic data Jay discovered revealed another shocking truth. The humans had engineered themselves for survival. Their bodies, like their technology, could adapt to extreme conditions. Radiation resistance, cellular regeneration, metabolic flexibility. They had prepared for everything. Communication attempts from the Galactic Federation were met with unexpected responses. The human systems didn't just receive signals. They analyzed them, understood their intent, and could potentially manipulate them. It was like watching a superior intelligence examine a child's puzzle. Backup systems that had been dormant for hundreds of thousands of years began to activate. Solar radiation collectors, quantum communication arrays, biological preservation units. Each system came online with a precision that suggested they had been waiting, prepared, for this exact moment. Jay Kim understood now. This wasn't just a ship. It was humanity's ultimate survival mechanism. Every technological choice, every design decision was made with one goal: to ensure the species could survive and thrive in any possible scenario. The Galactic Federation watched in a mixture of fear and fascination. The human vessel was revealing capabilities that challenged everything they understood about technology, adaptation, and survival. What they saw as an old, forgotten ship was actually a technological marvel beyond their comprehension. As more systems came online, the ship's true nature became clear. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a vessel that embodied the most profound aspects of human survival: adaptability, resilience, and an unbreakable will to continue. Jay Kim smiled. Humanity was back, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Galactic Federation's containment fleet arrived with overwhelming force. Massive warships surrounded the human vessel, weapons charged and communication channels open. They expected a quick, simple neutralization of an unknown threat. Hyun Park watched their approach with calm determination. The ship's defensive systems were already analyzing every approaching vessel, calculating potential response strategies in microseconds. What the Federation saw as a threat, the humans saw as another problem to solve. First contact protocols quickly broke down. Federation battleships attempted to establish control, sending aggressive communication signals and positioning weapon systems. The human ship simply continued its course, almost ignoring the massive military display around it. Ryu, monitoring from the Federation Command Center, noticed something strange. Each time a battleship tried to block the human vessel's path, the ship would smoothly adjust its trajectory. Not through aggressive maneuvers, but with a calculated precision that seemed almost casual. Weapon locks failed repeatedly. Federation targeting systems would align, then suddenly malfunction. Communication signals became scrambled. Electronic warfare units found their most advanced systems turned against them, redirected by an intelligence they couldn't comprehend. J. Kim activated the ship's adaptive defense protocols. What looked like simple metal hull began to shift. Molecular structures rearranged, creating energy absorption patterns that made traditional weapons ineffective. Each attack was not just defended against, but studied and understood. Military. Commanders grew frustrated. Their most advanced battleships were being outmaneuvered by a vessel that looked centuries old. The human ship didn't fight back. It simply existed, adapting to every attempted containment with an almost elegant simplicity. Quantum communication networks became chaotic. Federation systems tried to analyze the human ship's technological signature, but found themselves trapped in complex algorithmic loops. It was like trying to catch water with a fishing net, impossible and constantly shifting. Defensive platforms positioned around critical star systems began to react strangely. Communication pathways became compromised, not through aggressive hacking, but through a sophisticated understanding of technological interconnectedness. The human ship was learning and adapting faster than any defensive system could respond. Hyun Park gave no aggressive orders. The ship's responses were automatic, built into its very design. Survival was not about fighting, but about understanding and navigating complex challenges. Each Federation attempt to control or stop them was simply another problem to solve. Biological. Monitoring systems detected something even more unusual. The humans weren't just technologically advanced, they were physiologically prepared for any scenario. Radiation levels that would destroy other species seemed to have no effect on their biological systems. Federation leadership began to realize they were dealing with something unprecedented. This wasn't a simple military confrontation. It was a demonstration of a technological and biological capability that challenged everything they understood about survival and adaptation. Weapon systems continued to fail. Communication channels became unreliable. The human ship moved with a calm certainty that was more terrifying than any aggressive action. It was clear they were not here to fight. They were here to exist. Tai Ryu watched in amazement as Federation battleships became increasingly confused. Their most advanced technological systems were being turned into complex puzzles, redirected and analyzed faster than they could respond. The human vessel wasn't destroying, it was understanding. As confrontation continued, it became clear that traditional military strategies were useless. The human ship was operating on a level of technological and strategic complexity that made conventional warfare look like a child's game. Hyun Park remained calm. This was just another challenge, another moment in humanity's long journey of survival. The ship continued its course, adapting, learning, existing, a living testament to human resilience and technological innovation. The Galactic Federation found itself facing a simple, terrifying reality. They were not in control. The humans had arrived and nothing would ever be the same again. The moment of truth arrived unexpectedly. Hyun Park and Jae Kim stood before the Galactic Federation's Central Council, surrounded by representatives from thousands of different civilizations. The massive chamber fell silent, tension thick in the air. No weapons were drawn, no threats were made. Instead, the humans began to speak about their journey, a story of survival that stretched across hundreds of thousands of years. They shared the true history of humanity's last days on Earth, the challenges they had overcome, and the profound lessons learned during their long voyage. The Federation representatives listened, their technological interfaces struggling to process the depth of human experience. It wasn't a tale of conquest or aggression. It was a narrative of adaptation, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit of survival. J. Kim explained their ship's true purpose. They weren't conquerors. They were explorers, survivors, carriers of a genetic and cultural legacy that had endured the most extreme conditions imaginable. Each system on their vessel represented centuries of learning, of preparing for the unknown. Genetic records showed how humans had modified themselves not for superiority, but for survival. Cellular structures that could repair extreme radiation damage. Metabolic systems that could adapt to virtually any environmental condition. A biological flexibility that defied traditional understanding of life itself. The Federation's leadership began to realize something profound. Humanity represented something more than a technological threat. They were a living example of adaptation, of the fundamental ability to survive and grow under the most challenging circumstances. Yun Park spoke about Earth's final days, not with sadness, but with a remarkable sense of hope. They had not run from their home planet. They had prepared, planned, and launched themselves into the universe with a deliberate, calculated strategy of survival. Communication systems across the galaxy began to shift. The humans weren't asking for acceptance. They were offering a new perspective, a way of understanding survival that went beyond military might or technological superiority. It was about resilience, about learning, about continuous adaptation. The ship's technological systems continued to interface with Federation networks, not as an invasion, but as a form of communication. Each interaction revealed layers of understanding, showing how human technology could potentially solve complex problems that had challenged galactic civilizations for millennia. Representatives from different star systems watched in amazement. The humans demonstrated technologies that could clean radiation, repair ecological damage, and create sustainable living systems. What seemed like ancient technology was actually a sophisticated approach to survival. J. Kim revealed their most important mission. They weren't here to replace or conquer. They were here to contribute, to share the knowledge accumulated during their long journey. Humanity's survival was about more than just existing. It was about understanding and growing. The Federation's military commanders who had earlier prepared for conflict now found themselves fascinated. The humans had defeated their most advanced systems not through force, but through an unprecedented ability to understand and adapt. Genetic records showed something even more remarkable. Humanity had preserved not just biological information, but cultural diversity. Languages, art, scientific knowledge, everything had been carefully maintained during their long journey. They were not just a species, but a living archive of human experience. Hyun Park's final statement changed everything. "We are not here to take," she said. "We are here to learn, to share, and to grow together." The simplicity of the statement carried a profound weight that resonated through the entire chamber. The Galactic Federation realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity was offering partnership, not conquest. A new way of understanding survival, of approaching technological and biological challenges. As discussions continued, it became clear that everything was about to change. The arrival of the human vessel wasn't an end or a beginning. It was a bridge, a connection between what was and what could be. The universe held its breath. Humanity had returned, and nothing would ever be the same again.